A thin noise of pop music is playing from the speakers in the high ceiling overhead while my wet shoes squeak on the polished tile. I quickly locate the toy department in the western corner of the building. At the beginning of one aisle I discover a tempting display of advanced Dungeons & Dragons action figures on sale. I dig through the display, one package swinging behind another. Paladin, Wizard, Goblin, Evil Guy with horn helmet. The figures are pretty neat, but I don't really need them. I wander deeper into the department where big rubber balls, plastic swimming pools, board games, dolls, and typical toy department clutter are neatly displayed. Star Wars and Return of the Jedi merchandise still abounds, even though its prominence is nowhere near what it was last year. I depart the toy department empty-handed and set a course toward my next destination. Target has a nice electronics department with a wide assortment of records and tapes and games. It's debatable, but this may be nicer than the setup they have at Walmart, Kmart, or TG&Y. Music and radio stations blare from individual stereo systems on display. I try to ease past an elderly man who is clumsily pushing a shopping cart in the exact center of the aisle. Slipping past the old roadblock and turning a sharp corner, I suddenly stop short in surprise. I take a few slow steps forward, squinting at the array of silver boxes stacked before me. Wow! Are those Commodore VIC-20 games? For $2 each? Yes, they are. Some of these games I've actually heard of. After several minutes of digging and inspecting, I leave the electronics department with a small armload of silver and white VIC-20 boxes. Seeking out our roaming family shopping cart, I pass briefly through the sporting goods department and walk around the various clothing departments throughout the store before tracking down my mom. Once the games have been unloaded into the shopping cart and an explanation of their reasonable prices has been made, I dart off to explore the rest of the store. I quickly return to the electronics department for another look at what I may have missed during my first hurried visit. I scan through the Atari 2600 games, many of which I notice have been greatly discounted. I step across the aisle and start going through the Intellivision games that hang on hooks attached to the wall on that side. Among those games I find the new Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Treasure of Tarman. I've looked at ads for the game in recent issues of Marvel Comics, but this is the first time I've actually seen it in the stores. It would certainly be nice to get it, but the suggested retail price is more than $50, and that makes ownership altogether unworkable for me. I flip the box over and take a look at the back just so I can see what I'm missing out on. I reluctantly hang the box back on its hook. As I do so, my eyes take notice of the price tag. There is a red mark through the original number and a new price of $29.95 written underneath it in pen. Hold on just a minute. That is a very good price. Wow! That is almost borderline acceptable. It beats $50 or $60 at least. With hopeful enthusiasm I pull the game off the hook and seek out the family shopping cart once again. After some cajoling to my mom about how cheap the game is compared to how much the normal price usually is, I finally make the sale. I feel good. I feel like I've actually accomplished something on this trip. We've been here at Target for about an hour now, and for all practical purposes I am ready to go home and play now. As the time to depart draws near, I've stumbled upon a bin of computer program manuals in the center aisle of the store. I hurriedly dig through the jumbled pile, anxiously seeking out any VIC-20 compatible items. For $11.65 I find a book called Zap, Pow, Boom, Games for the VIC-20. It's a thick, orange tome that should keep me busy with weeks worth of programs to type out and play. Next, I find computer battle games and the almost identical computer space games, both for $5.35 each. I finally settle on getting computer battle games. My family has started to slowly make their way to the checkout lines. I bypass the whole checkout area and wander over to a dim little alcove beyond the cash registers where the magazine rack is located. I'll wait here until it is officially time to rendezvous outside. Glancing towards the rain-splattered front windows of the store, I see that the storm clouds have darkened considerably since we first arrived. The shadow-gray sky is hanging heavily with tattered and wispy tails that are moving ominously in the wind. Rain is slamming relentlessly against the asphalt of the parking lot and blowing against the plate glass windows in periodic gusts. I hear the water pouring and splashing from the gutters just outside the doors. I'm going to have to get wet all over again. Probably much worse than before. Oh, look. Buffalo Bruce just charged outside to retrieve the truck and bring it back around to the front of the store to pick us all up. He's splashing his way out there with his jacket pulled up over his head. When the time comes and Bruce drives up to the front of the store, we all briefly brave the punishing rain and frantically load the truck. I am again crammed into my dreary compartment behind the front seats. I'm sweating ever so slightly in my black Pittsburgh Steelers jacket. Its plastic yellow sleeves are slick with water and the other parts are dotted with shiny wet beads. Before we pull out into the heavy traffic, I start digging through the rain-spotted shopping bags that have been haphazardly stuffed in all around me and find the bag containing my collection of prizes. I open the plastic wrap of the treasure ton box and carefully reach into the inner compartment for the thick instruction manual and settle in for some light reading.